it's going to be a problem when you produce a lot of content easily. So there are theories. Theory of mind is one of them, which states that if the effort of creating something is going to be low, then you're not going to value this as much. So
Correct.
part of the way that we value things is by looking at how much effort has been
Yeah,
put into
the
this.
scarcity concept. Yeah.
100%. And so when companies are producing content left, right, and center without much thought, then it's going to be a problem. And this is where we introduce a concept called the value in being, which is talking about value of being in an environment with authentic environment. And so the authenticity is going to be a competitive advantage in the future, in my opinion. It's going to be, the difference now is about how efficient can you produce content. And in the future, it's not going to be about efficiency, it's going to be about authenticity. So how authentic can you produce this content?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Intelligent Future podcast. In this episode, I chatted with my guest, Dr. Saifeddin Alimamy, an associate professor at Zayed University. We talked about the role of AI in marketing. AI has indeed revolutionized marketing, from personalization to content creation to the automation of customer support. Yet the human element is still essential in marketing. This human element can be in the form of organic content, word of mouth, or authentic customer support. This will still be essential moving forward. I chatted with Saif about all these topics and more, and I hope you will enjoy them and you will find this piece useful. Without further ado, I leave you with this podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me. So for me, marketing was kind of a fallback. I originally started with an MIS background. My family has a history of MIS. So my father's an MIS, my brother got an MIS, and me being the rebel decided to do something different. So I thought I still wanted to be in business. That's something that I really enjoyed. It's a topic that I enjoyed in school, and it's something that I was always reading about and quite intrigued about, especially within real estate markets and so on. And so the closest thing, I guess, to entrepreneurship that the university had at the time was marketing. And little did I know that marketing was going to change drastically, over the 4 years of my university and after the university as well. And I think I'm very happy with where marketing has reached now because it's quite wide and it allows me to do research and to explore different areas of business.
Fantastic. So I can tell from your answer that you're happy that you chose this field as your research field. But you alluded to the fact that marketing has changed a lot. Just tell us very quickly to the listener who's new to the concept of marketing, how did marketing change?
So I think when it comes to traditional marketing, and I think whenever anyone thinks about marketing, they think of a snake oil salesman, selling fake things to people and trying to take their money. Advertising, I think, is one of the biggest kind of draws, or rather to avoid marketing. And so a lot of people assume that marketing is only about advertising, but that's not true. It's actually far from the truth. And marketing is about creating value, and anything that creates value for customers is marketing. So it does not have to be unethical, can be, but it doesn't have to be, and it shouldn't be. So I think marketing has changed from a very transactional focus, focusing on sales, to something that's a bit more relational in recent years. This is something that is witnessed in the literature, but also you can see it in as competition increased, companies had to figure out ways to capture the customer's attention, and they couldn't rely on simply talking about the product. It had to be about the brand, and it had to be about what they're going to get out of purchasing from that particular brand. And so I think marketing has evolved from a very transactional focus to a more relational focus, and now it's again transitioning to something that's kind of a hybrid with the rise of AI. We're seeing a lot less, I guess it's still relational, but it's not human relational. There's an aspect of human relations, but also there's that question mark about the computer or the machine rather. And so that's something that I think is going to be the future of marketing.
Wonderful. So that actually took me right into the topic of today, which is AI and marketing. So artificial intelligence, how did it transform or change the world of marketing?
Yes, that's a very good question. I think so. Marketing has changed. Sorry, AI has changed marketing in quite drastic ways. But I think it's important to note that AI has been around for a very long time, and
Mhm,
marketing has taken advantage of AI for many years. If we look at the likes of Netflix or Amazon,
mhm,
which both provide curated content based on consumer information,
mhm.
information in the form of their choices and viewing
Okay.
habits or shopping habits, um, and then they provide you with content that is based on the person's interest. And
Mhm,
so that is in a form of AI. And if we go into marketing even further, we can see that advertising has been personalized through AI or through
mhm,
the with the help of AI. We can see that advertisements. So when you browse around, when you browse your internet, you typically are giving away data to companies, and this data is being used to provide you with curated advertisements that are made for you.
mhm,
And so, you're looking for a hotel in Vienna, for example, or over the summer, and you as you go and browse different hotel booking platforms, you
mhm,
go on Google to search for something else, and you might find booking.com, an advertisement for booking.com on the right-hand side of your Google
mhm,
search results. And so AI has been around for a long time, but I think now the transition to an AI economy is going to change everything even more, because now I think AI has reached a stage where content can be created through AI, and I think
mhm.
that's a big
Wonderful.
change. Yeah. So I think when we talk about content creation, AI marketers in general are finding it a lot easier to create more content and
Mhm,
quality content. The problem with that, though, and I think one of the biggest problems is the relational aspects, because you're missing out on the creation of value through the human interaction.
mhm.
Um, I don't know if AI can reach a point where it could perhaps uh, you know claim that it's a human, or
Mhm.
at least allow for similar kind of relationships as a human. But we will
Yeah,
see in the
yeah,
future.
that's yet to be seen. So basically, there are two important things in which AI changed the landscape of marketing: personalization and content creation. But I live in 2024 and I still get advertisements, for instance, on YouTube and other social media platforms that are not personalized to me. Has it not been adopted mainstream, or is this the next thing that we'll increasingly see ads that are tailored to us specifically?
Yeah, I think you'll find that within the next few years, you'll find more personalized advertisements. It's companies at the moment who are trying to figure out how to use AI. So
Mhm,
when you, for example, are watching a YouTube video and you get an advertisement that might not be personalized to you, and the
mhm,
next one is personalized to you, and so
mhm,
it's based on the company that is producing that advertisement.
mhm,
And I think a recent ad that I've seen is Apple, and it's showing me the iPhone 12 Pro Max camera quality. And
mhm,
as it goes over the picture, it
mhm,
shows you how the iPhone 15 Pro Max is going to be. And so
mhm,
that's something that I think is interesting, because I have an iPhone 12 Pro Max.
mhm.
And
Okay.
I've been looking at iPhone 15 Pro Max. And so
Mhm,
it's giving me a comparison between the two. And I think that's brilliant. And
mhm,
I don't know if it's a coincidence, but I doubt that it is. There are many iPhones. I don't know if the 12 Pro Max is the common kind of phone that people are typically exchanging for a 15. But I see that in the future, perhaps we're going to see more of those kind of advertisements that are very personal
mhm,
and related to you.
mhm, mhm. So personal hopefully doesn't also mean that it's exactly what I predict, because if that's the case, that might not come across as fresh for the customer. Like every now and then people might actually want a product that they have never heard of before.
Hmm.
Nothing like what they have consumed before or something. So do you think personalization can also not be a good thing sometimes because it doesn't recommend something that's out of the box for us?
Yeah, so in marketing, we typically have different phases of purchase, and the first phase is awareness. So some companies have advertisements that are catering to that specific stage, which is awareness. And so an ad that you might feel does not really resonate with you or is not personalized to you
Mhm,
might actually be something that is um, trying to raise awareness for a
mhm,
product that you might not be aware of. And this might actually be using data, relying on data to see that you have actually not looked at this product before. And so
mhm.
they're targeting you um,
Wonderful.
deliberately to try and get you to understand that this product exists.
Mhm. Wonderful. So that's part of the algorithm, is to surprise consumers sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wonderful, wonderful. But that also raises a question of information collection and ethics and the policy of doing it. I think as we live in this age and this era of personalization, don't you think that consumers will start worrying that AI or the algorithms or the search engines, they know too much about us? So how do they strike the balance of keeping my privacy and yet recommending to me something that I might actually like?
Yeah, I think I'm going to be a bit controversial here and say
Mhm,
that uh, uh, the internet knows everything about you already, and they know everything they need about you and me and everyone else. And I
mhm,
think the whole privacy thing is overblown because companies know everything about you, maybe not in the form that we are feeling uncomfortable with,
mhm,
but they do have the raw data about you. With that said, I think AI needs to know its limits. Companies need to know their limits when utilizing AI.
mhm,
And I think for customers, there is research that shows that they're willing to accept more personalization, to accept more privacy breaches in exchange for personalization. So they're willing to give more of their personal information if the company can convert that information into personalized offerings, they're going to be happy with that. So I think it's about value. Once again, if a company is going to provide value with
mhm,
the use of your information, then a customer is not going to be unhappy about that. They're actually going to be very, very happy about this because they're going to get value for their data. Now, if the company is getting data from you without you be benefiting anything and the company's actually benefiting, then that's actually going to cause a customer to be frustrated and unhappy about their privacy breaches. But we give our information to companies all the time, our emails, our names, our passwords, everything. We do give all that information, credit cards, we give all that information to companies already. And I think if they can utilize this information to make our lives easier, like for example, you don't have to look for your credit card every time you put in your details. It's already saved on your Chrome. Then yeah, you're going to be happy with that. But
mhm,
if the company is utilizing this information to perhaps do something that is malicious, then of course we're not going to be happy about this.
mhm, mhm. Wonderful. All right. So let's talk a little bit about content creation. So how AI is currently transforming that realm, and why is that important? And if AI, facilitates content creation, then do we need humans to create content, or what's the game right now?
Yeah, so content creation is a core part of marketing, especially in recent years. You have social media people, personalities. They are going out and they're producing content. They're spending a lot of money in producing quality content, and that's what people like to consume, this kind of content. We're also seeing professionals go out and produce content. Now, this is all being this will be replaced by AI at some point. Um, and the reason for that is because AI can produce really great video. It can produce really great pictures. It can produce things with a lot less effort and with a lot less cost to companies. This is going to be a problem in the future. Actually, I'm writing a paper about this right now. It's going to be a problem when you produce a lot of content easily. So there are theories. Theory of mind is one of them, which states that if the effort of creating something is going to be low, then you're not going to value this as much. So
Correct.
part of the way that we value things is by looking at how much effort has been
Yeah,
put into
the
this.
scarcity concept. Yeah.
100%. And so when companies are producing content left, right, and center without much thought, then it's going to be a problem. And this is where we introduce a concept called the value in being, which is talking about value of being in an environment with authentic environment. And so the authenticity is going to be a competitive advantage in the future, in my opinion. It's going to be the difference now is about how efficient can you produce content. And in the future, it's not going to be about efficiency. It's going to be about authenticity. So how authentic can you produce this content? And perhaps you can use AI to help you edit the videos. You can use AI to help you, crop and move pictures around or whatnot, create graphics. But at the end of the day, people are going to be looking for real video. They're not going to be looking for AI video unless it's for something like a tutorial or just a utilitarian kind of need. Um, so yeah, I think that's the future. You're going to reach a point of saturation where there's too much content, and when that happens, then consumers will start looking for alternative ways
So,
of
so
serving.
basically, as marketers, you seem to understand and value creativity, and that's like centric in marketing, that humans desire for creativity, and content creation naturally used to be a creative process. Now it's becoming more mechanical, but in the future we'll go back to the basic principle of creativity, that we want genuine, authentic content generated by humans with maybe a little help of AI.
Yes, exactly. So that's what I think that it's going to start off with, human created content is not going to be very efficient, but it's going to be very good. So it's going to probably be sort of at the right-hand side of a spectrum somewhere. And then right after that, it's going to be human plus AI. But before that, you might get AI plus human, where an AI is going to produce the content and the human is going to check it. That's not going to be as much value as a human generated content. And then at the very beginning of the spectrum, the first sort of thing is going to be AI, completely AI with no help with a human. So you can see that value will extend across that spectrum. I don't know, and visually I can see it, and you're going to have a human, and then human with the help of AI is going to probably be the competitive advantage here is content still going to be created by a human, but it's going to be created by a human with AI helping in the mechanical, as you said, the stuff that needs to get done, that in the back end kind of stuff that needs to be completed.
Wonderful, wonderful. Let's talk about conversational agents. Those are definitely out there, and people have become much more familiar with them since the establishment and the launch of OpenAI, which is most people's first direct experience with AI. How are chatbots transforming marketing?
So chatbots are a core part of marketing, especially when it comes to support, customer support. So post-sale customer support or pre-sale customer support, I would say as well. Yesterday I was booking some flights and online, and I had to talk to someone. So I was connected to an agent. I'm not sure if the agent was an AI or not, but I prefer to talk to an agent rather than to speak to somebody on the phone, for example. To me, that's a lot less stressful. And for many other people, you see more and
You mean
more.
typing versus voice calling? Okay.
Yeah, I think so. Like for instance, when you go to the mall or you go to the supermarket, you find more and more people are putting on headphones, walking down the aisle. They don't want to speak to anyone. I don't think that's a good thing, but
Mhm.
that's the reality is we are consuming so much content and we are doing so many things in our day that sometimes you just want some peace. And so when you are sitting there shopping online in the middle of the night, you probably don't want to talk to somebody on the phone. Um, yeah,
Okay.
so I did speak to someone, and the point is it was able to resolve my problem. So I think in marketing, we're going to see more and more of this. I've seen a product where a company could pay for an AI voice-based assistant,
Mhm.
where when a customer calls, an AI will respond, and it sounds exactly like a human. You cannot
Wow.
tell the difference. It's
Mhm.
amazing.
Mhm.
And I've seen it, I've tried it, and I thought that it was brilliant. So instead of calling up your water company because you have a problem with the bill, you're going to call up the water company, you'll be connected to this AI, which has your data, and they'll be able to. And it's very emotional as well. So it uses tones
Sure.
and voice. It's like
Uh-huh.
the ChatGPT 4.0, right?
Uh-huh.
Or 4.0
It's
rather.
probably more emotional than some humans who are monotonic by nature.
Yeah, yeah. Have you seen the Chat
Sure.
GPT 4.0?
Yeah, yeah,
Right?
yeah, yeah. It
That's
sounds
brilliant.
sounds pretty human. It takes pauses and varies its tone, and yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I think in the future, that's one area where jobs are probably going to be gone in the future, post-sales service, because we don't call a service agent because we want to chat. We call a post-service agent because we want to solve a problem. And if the AI can solve our problem quickly,
Mhm.
then we don't want to talk to anyone, right? I mean,
Mhm.
at least some people don't want to talk to anyone.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing that's happened with digital banking, right? So instead of going to the bank, you have your app and you can do everything online.
Mhm.
I think it's the same thing when you connect to an agent, you'd rather get things done quickly. And if an AI can do that, then why not? So both, I think voice and text-based are both important when it comes to marketing.
Mhm.
And both for pre-sale, as in the case of my airline example,
Okay.
and post-service as well.
Okay. Let me give you an example where this technology fails. You know, I'm a fan of chatbots, you know that. But let me give you an example where this chatbot wasn't designed correctly and it ruined my experience as a customer. So I'm a user of Talabat, and I think recently this introduced a chatbot instead of a human agent. Which sounds techy and sounds good, but the problem is this chatbot was configured in such a way that it's not lenient at all when it comes to refunds. And I had an issue with my order, and I thought I deserved the refund, but it was adamant it would not give me any refund whatsoever. And I knew it was a chatbot, so I asked it, "Are you a chatbot?" And it would just change the topic. It would not even answer that question. So to me, I'm not an expert, but as a customer, that didn't feel like the right utilization of chatbots.
I think it's a really cool way of using chatbots to get away with having a robot answer and deal with customers. But you're right. Now, if I were in your situation, and you'll probably do the same, you'll end up switching to another application because there's so many different apps. And so they've lost a customer in that way. So AI should be following in the rules and procedures of the organization and should treat customers in the way that a human would. And I think that requires a
Exactly.
lot of effort, right? So it requires a lot of programming and design that captures hundreds of millions of hours of customer communication and uses that as a platform rather than to configure it and say, well,
100%.
do not give refunds at all. That's probably
Exactly.
what they probably said, right?
And another thing is it should not pretend that it's a human because
That's
that's
true.
frustrating.
That's unethical, I think, if an
Yeah,
AI,
yeah, absolutely. It is.
yeah.
It is because
Yeah.
you have to be genuine. You have to be direct and mention the truth as is. What's the truth? You just tell it. Exactly. Yeah.
I think
Uh,
that's a really interesting
mhm.
idea for a project to work on when it comes to understanding how chatbots, I mean, how AI is perceived by others and whether or not perceiving a chatbot as AI or a human could result in different kinds of different kinds of responses. from the customer, and what happens if they find out that it's an AI. I think it's a really interesting area that that we'll find out a lot more in the future about.
100%. For now, I'm expecting different responses, different ways people would treat the agent. In the future, let's say 5 or 10 years from now, I don't think there will be any differences because chatbot will behave almost the same as a human.
Yeah, but we still want to know that it's a chatbot, right? So we
Oh
can
yeah,
vet.
100%, 100%. Yeah. And I think another thing, I don't know if this is so much related to marketing. The problem with AI in general is it hides how decisions are made. They call that area explainable AI. Is explainable AI important when it comes to marketing? I mean, should people know how AI is crafting a marketing message, or how it communicates, or how it makes a decision behind the scene? Is that important when it comes to marketing?
Yeah, I think this depends on the context. So, for example, if I was involved in the creation of an offering with the company, I would like to know how and what the AI is doing in the background.
Mhm.
But at the same time, it should not be so technical that I would be thrown off by it.
Mhm.
Um, I think when it comes to you asking for see, customers could either want they could either want to co-create with the company and
Mhm.
collaborate in building their own value. That's
Mhm.
what kind of a lot of the recent thinking around marketing is shifting to. Or it could be that the customer doesn't really want to put in a lot of effort and they just simply want an outcome. In that case, they don't really want to know what's happening in the background. Like if I go in and I say, this is a problem I have, just find me a solution. And I don't want to get involved with the solution. I just
Mhm.
want the solution. But if
Got it.
something is really important to me, yes, I would like to know how
Mhm.
the chatbot is behaving and how the chatbot is deciding on the solution, because maybe it's not the best one for me.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think the first one, the former is more
Cool.
relevant in a
Mhm.
lot of the kind of transactional
Got it.
kind of businesses that we have.
Got it. I think there is also, I heard that especially when it comes to content recommendation, like the example of Netflix and other social media platforms. So because we consume content and you are feeding me content, I want to know why you recommended me these movies or these products or these books. So this companies are disclosing increasingly. I don't know if all companies are, but I think they are disclosing that I recommended this to you because of your
You watched.
preferences or because of this specific characteristic that you have, and so on and so forth.
Mhm. Yeah, I think even in search results, sometimes you get these advertisements, and if you click on the details, it'll tell you why you're receiving this ad.
Mhm.
So this is something that is important, I think, when it comes to, like you said, the offerings that matter to the customer. But I also think that, um, again, I'll go back to the example of search engines,
Mhm.
and with Google, there was a lot of companies spent millions of dollars in trying to understand the algorithm and trying to optimize their websites, optimize their products so it shows on Google when you search for a certain keyword.
Mhm.
Now, this is now changing, and Google has changed their algorithm, and now they are actually trying to provide you with an answer through AI. So
Mhm.
when you put in a question like where's the best restaurant in my neighborhood, it will tell you where the best restaurants are in your neighborhood through an AI chatbot, or through AI. It'll give you this. So the search results are now, in the past, a lot of the search results focused on content that was produced by people
Mhm.
rather than content that was mass
Mhm.
produced. But now you're actually kind of seeing the opposite, where you're seeing an AI answering your question rather than the search results providing you with content that you can read or you can view.
Mhm. Excellent,
That's
excellent, excellent. I don't know why this question came to my mind. I'll ask it nevertheless. Word of mouth in marketing is extremely powerful. Is it going to disappear now in the era of AI, or do we still have word of mouth and it will just continue as long as we have humans? We always have word of mouth.
I think it's going to be even more important because as companies start producing products and services that use AI, we're
Mhm,
going to see a saturation of content.
mhm,
And not only content, but also products. It's going to be easier to produce products. So you're going to have a lot of competition.
mhm,
And a lot of the products are going to be very, very similar with slight nuances.
mhm.
So a word of mouth would make all the difference in the world. If you can get your friend to say to you, well, I used this product and it was great, you're probably not going to think about anything else that you see because you're just going to go for that. And I think it's, if we go back to, again, it's about effort and it's about the benefits that somebody gets out of telling you this. There's no benefit that the person gets out of telling you this apart from like epistemic value when they tell you about a new restaurant they went to. But a company is going to benefit a lot more. So as humans, we automatically try to think about these things and we weigh those things and when we find that probably your friend is the person to rely on rather than AI because AI is probably tweaked towards the company. So I think, yeah, I think word of mouth is going to be central to the way that we kind of distinguish between different kinds and qualities of AI.
Wonderful. All right, Saif. So last question for you. Let's imagine that someone is starting a new company and they want to market. Let's say it's a service-based company or something. What's your recommendation for them? Should they use AI? Should they go traditional? What should they do?
I think it should be AI should definitely be used
Mhm,
when you're providing a service. But so like the examples we gave about post-sale, pre-sale, all of that
mhm,
kind of stuff. But I think inherently there needs to be that relational aspect where human to human contact is there because if even if not now, but in the future, it's going to be more and more important to have that human touch. And companies that do still have that human touch will be distinguished from those that are relying on AI. So I think a human-centered design of a service that utilizes AI to make things efficient would
mhm.
be the way to go, in my opinion.
Wonderful. Well, with that being said, thank you so much, Saif. I thoroughly enjoyed the conversation.
Likewise,
Wish you
thank
all
you
the
for having
best. Thank you.
me.
I'll just pause.